Ladies and gentlemen, this episode was amazing. Before I start reviewing it, I just want to say one thing. I did a video about this a couple of days ago, but I'm going to repeat it just in case. Starting from episode 56, which is not the next episode, but the one after it, the Boruto anime will air on Thursdays. So, the next episode, which is episode 55, will be the last episode that we're gonna get on Wednesday. I just wanted to say that because I know that, when episode 56 airs, there's gonna be, a lot of upset people. But, yeah, now you know. Anyway, let's start talking about this brilliant episode of Boruto, episode 56. Did I just say 56? Episode 54. So far, my favorite arc of Boruto is the Shin arc, but I'm pretty sure that, if this quality is kept throughout the arc, that, this arc will be my official favorite arc of the entire series. Now, let me quickly say one thing. Throughout this review, I'm not going to refer to the movie a lot of times. I'm going to mention it a couple of times because I'm supposed to review this episode and not the movie, right? Because I know that, now that this arc started, and I saw this multiple times, YouTubers tend to compare it to the, to the movie all the time. Some YouTubers, some videos, I saw some videos. Anyway, I'm not gonna do that because that would be kind of not necessarily stupid, but I'm just not gonna do it. Anyway, this episode, to be 100% honest, I enjoyed it a lot. I even watched it 2 times before making this video, which I don't usually do. I can't remember the last time I saw the episode 2 times before making my review. But anyway, this episode was great. And I know it's kind of redundant because I already said a lot of good things about it, but let me explain. So, at the start of the episode, we have this meeting of, Sasuke and Boruto, which we got at the end of the last episode. And anyway, we have this extra scene that wasn't in the movie where basically Boruto starts, he wants to go. And then, Sasuke stops him. And I really like this line because basically Sasuke says, "Your mom said to wait." And obviously, Sasuke's family got murdered when he was a child. But anyway, he always respected his family and he had a special bond with his mom. So that just kind of, when Sasuke says it so seriously, like mom said it, it means that he really, in his opinion, when mom says something, it has a great value. And I really, really liked that little moment. And obviously, Boruto is still angry at Naruto from what happened in the last episode. I'm not going to talk about that again because I talked about it in my episode 53 review. But anyway, I just really, really like that little moment. And after that, Sasuke goes to the Hokage office and he talks to Naruto. And the interesting thing is that, the seal that, actually the scroll that has some information about Kaguya, Sasuke can't even read it with his Rinnegan, which really shows that, throughout the Boruto series, we're gonna get some new Otsutsuki related stuff, especially if you read the manga, that, something completely else is gonna appear that's not ninjas and not Otsutsuki's, if you get what I mean. But I'm not gonna talk about that right now because I don't want to spoil it for people who don't read the manga. But anyway, as before Sasuke appeared, Naruto was talking to Shikamaru and he was like, "I messed up again," because he sent a shadow clone to his house. And there's this very interesting scene because Shikamaru tells Naruto, "I told you to go." But Naruto says, "I can't go because the Chunin exam, is approaching and, we're late with the papers or whatever." And he mentioned the Zetsu incident. Now, a lot of people always bring this up. They say that, Naruto is supposed to, have a shadow clone in his office and go home or something like that. But this was, like the writers try to justify this, but I feel as though a lot of people missed this detail. I don't know if it was the last episode or the one before it. I think it was episode 53, but that doesn't really matter. If you remember, Naruto's shadow clone was doing an interview basically on TV or whatever, And there was this moment where he's talking to the lady that's interviewing him or whatever, and he's like, I want to say 3 things for the upcoming, tunings or whatever, for the Gennies that are about to participate. And he basically says 2 things. And, obviously you could interpret this as a gag moment, which, yeah, it was funny because he said 2 things instead of 3. But what the writers are trying to imply is that shadow clones aren't capable of doing some stuff that requires logical thinking. Obviously we know that, when Naruto was learning the Rasengan Shuriken, he used the clones, but that's just physical work. When it comes to intelligence, these clones aren't the smartest, so that's why his main body needs to stay in the Hokage office. Not to mention that the Zetsu incident is a, top class secret. I don't even know if Hinata knows about it. And anyway, that was the main reason why Naruto stayed in the Hokage office. So I hope that this kind of settles it for many people. And anyway, Sasuke approaches, I already mentioned the whole, stuff with the scroll. And we see his fight against Kinshiki in a form of a flashback. And the animation in this fight, like, oh my god, it was so satisfying to watch. It was just gorgeous. It was gorgeous. Some extra details were added from the movie. Some details were left out. I'm specifically talking about the fight. But either way, it was brilliant. It was honestly brilliant. And again, here I'm gonna mention the movie. I said that I won't do it too many times, but I'm just gonna do it a couple of times anyway. In the movie, Sasuke and Kinshiki were already fighting, and Kinshiki didn't even say anything. And here he introduced himself, which was very interesting. But for me, this is the most interesting line, and it's literally one of the most crucial things that was added in this episode. Momoshiki, when he sees Sasuke, he asks him where Kaguya is. Now, at first glance, this might seem like a tiny detail, but Momoshiki, according to my calculations, okay, and my predictions, is not gonna be a one-dimensional villain that just wanted power, immortality, and randomly decided to kill everybody. Firstly, in the last episode, Urashiki made it clear that Momoshiki, Kinshiki, and Urashiki were dispatched by the clan. I believe it was Boruto episode 15 where Kinshiki mentioned something about the earth, something very strange. We still don't know what they were referring to. And then he was like, we need to report this to the clan. So first of all, Momoshiki is not just an idiot. He was sent here. Second of all, he asks, where is Kaguya? That's very interesting because it just confirms that he's basically on a mission. He's not a one-dimensional villain. We might even get a backstory later on in the arc or something like that. But the thing I'm trying to say is this anime version of Momoshiki is much more interesting. Also, when he was talking to Sasuke, and when Sasuke told him that Kaguya is not here, he was like, you gotta, tell me everything you know. And he was kind of upset, meaning that he potentially has pressure from the clan. Let me throw out one more thing here. Kaguya was supposedly a princess of the Otsutsuki clan, meaning, every time you have a princess, you have a king, which is the father, right? We could be talking like maybe potentially her father is the leader of the Otsutsuki clan, and he sent him or whatever because he made some shit on the earth which he wasn't supposed to do. Because keep in mind, Kaguya escaped from her planet. We never, well, from her time. She escaped from the Otsutsuki clan, right? You get the point. And in the anime of Naruto Shippuden, it was, we got her backstory. We realized that she wasn't a bad person. She was basically fucked over. That's what I wanted to say by the humans, right? And then she literally came to the conclusion that she needs to keep all the power and control everybody. That's something that Madara also wanted. But also she was preparing an army for, Urashiki, Kinshiki, and Momoshiki. So to say that Kaguya is one-dimensional is completely stupid. And I feel like Kaguya gets a lot of hate, which isn't justified. Because, as I said, we did get her backstory. I think in the manga, her backstory wasn't there. So I kind of understand why some people who, at the time were reading the manga were upset. I wouldn't say she was terrible even then, because she was kind of foreshadowed. in the manga, but you know, the anime just did a great job. And now in Boruto, and you know, as time goes by, we're probably gonna get more info about the Otsutsuki clan and everything, and Kaguya as well. So yeah, I think that's really, really, that's great. We even saw in this episode like a moment, like a flashback of Team 7 sealing Kaguya, which was extremely nostalgic, and I really, really liked that addition to this episode. Also, another thing that was added in this episode that wasn't in the movie was when Sasuke was about to leave the Hokage office, he saw Boruto from the window. And there, Boruto tried to attack Sasuke because Sasuke wouldn't let him attack Naruto. And then Boruto realized, like, yo, you're cool. And, you know, his eyes were shiny and all that, which is much better than what happened in the movie. Because in the movie, he literally sees him and then, you know, he's already fanboying. Like this, it's more complex, it's just overall better, and it feels realistic. That's what I'm trying to say, because obviously the anime does not have time limits. Oh, FYI, I was checking something, and anyway, right now we covered 1/3 of the movie, and the arc started in episode 51. For some reason, people say that the arc started in episode 52, which is when we got the new opening, but no, the arc started in episode 51, because episode 50 was the recap episode, and episode 51 marks the beginning of the arc. So episode 51, 2, 3, and now episode 54. So 4 episodes covered 30 minutes of the movie. Obviously, we had a lot of extra stuff, and I mean, the movie was brilliant, but now in the anime, like, oh my god, I'm fucking fanboying all over the place, in a positive way, of course. I mean, the writers are doing such a great job. Anyway, you know, we all knew that Sasuke was gonna tell him that he needs to know the Rasengan, and you know, Boruto pulls out Konohamaru, wakes him up, and that was a great gag moment where, you know, Konohamaru thought that, you know, Boruto wants to finally become a true ninja, to learn some new jutsu or whatever. Well, in fact, he just wanted to, you know, become Sasuke's student. I really, really liked that moment. Excuse me, and you know, Konohamaru was like, Lord 4th, Lord 7th, I'm gonna pass on this jutsu, like it's a very, very important legacy. I fucking enjoyed that moment. Konohamaru has a very likable personality as a character, and I'm really enjoying his and Boruto's interactions, especially when they were practicing the Rasengan and when they were fighting, or whatever, I mean arguing, to be 100% accurate. And in the movie, Boruto learned it very easily. I'm referring, you know, I'm referring to the Rasengan. But here he tried to do the first phase, right, with the balloon and water. He couldn't do it, and this has to be one of my favorite moments. What they added is just brilliant. They added a scene where Boruto comes home. So first of all, he comes home. He's like, "Sorry, mom. Sorry for being late," and then, you know, Hinata, I guess, had to go somewhere. Now, I talked about this in the past, and it's kind of obvious, but I'm just gonna say once more. I really like Boruto as a protagonist because his bond with his family, you know, with his parents and his sister, is so strong and it's so visible. Like, again, he's very respectful. He runs home. He says, "I'm sorry for being late." You know, I really respect that. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about his relationship with Naruto. I talked about it multiple times. There's a huge misunderstanding there, and it's written very, very well. And, you know, Boruto was about to make a cake, and then he said, "I'm gonna make a pancake instead," something like that for Himawari. And, you know, I don't think we got this too many times in the Boruto anime, like, you know, only Boruto and Himawari interacting. And like that was just so satisfying to watch, you know, Boruto saying you can rely on your big brother or something like that. I'm not quoting the exact sentence, but you get the drill. And when he was making the pancake and doing that, you guys know what I'm referring to. I don't know the word in English. I'm Serbian. And when he was doing that, he realized what Konohamaru was referring to in the Rasengan training session. And then, after that, we see Boruto trying to master the Rasengan, and they added these little cutscenes of that basically show that multiple days passed, which means that Boruto had to work really hard for this. Obviously, we know that Boruto is a prodigy. He masters jutsu easily. I mean, he even mastered Rasengan easily. He did it in a couple of days. Naruto was also talented. He did it relatively quickly. I mean, the fourth Hokage was developing the jutsu for like 3 years, and then took another 6 months to master it. I think it was stated in this episode once again, something like that. And yeah, he worked really hard. And you know, his final Rasengan, obviously there's like the Rasengan he threw. In case you haven't seen the movie, I'm not gonna mention what it is. It's obviously not a regular Rasengan because he fucking threw it. But I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm referring to. But anyway, it looked small, and when he was talking to Sasuke, it really, like, from his perspective, it looked like Sasuke was gonna reject him, so he ran away. And you know, Sarada came. You know, that moment was really nice when she was like, "You're too strict about him." And speaking about now that I mentioned Sarada and Sasuke, I want to mention one scene earlier from the episode where when Sasuke comes home. I really enjoyed that scene. Obviously, it wasn't in the movie. Sakura literally she falls to the ground when she sees Sasuke. I really like that moment. It really shows that, you know, love that Sakura has for Sasuke is just huge. Obviously, it's mutual, but it's something that we're seeing throughout the Naruto series, and it's overall really enjoyable after so many years seeing Sasuke and Sakura together, and obviously Sarada being happy. And there's this one moment in the episode that I really enjoyed. I even had to tweet it. Well, I wasn't forced to do it, but you get the point. It's when Sarada asks Sasuke, "How long are you gonna stay?" And then he's like, "Until your Chunin exams finish." And then you see Sarada smiling. And Boruto does this great thing, because everything we saw so far in the first 49 episodes, I mean in episode 50 as well, which was the recap episode, is so worth it right now, because we're attached to these characters. Even the side characters were developed, really nicely. And not to mention that we had an arc for Sarada where she basically tried to understand her father, and she kind of did. And now, you know, you see Sarada being happy, you know, because her family is at one place together. It's very satisfying to watch. And the way they introduced this in the episode, it was really nice, because, you know, when Boruto was with Shikadai, Mitsuki, and Inojin, I believe, when they were in the restaurant, cafe, whatever, Sarada was looking at him, and then she was like, she's very enthusiastic when it comes to my dad. And I really like that the line she said. She was like, "The Chunin exams require 3-man squads, right? So if he improves, that's just gonna be great." Anyway, going back to the scene where Boruto runs away from Sasuke because he's frustrated, because he's trying to get some attention from his dad. He wants his dad to spend time at home. And now he tried to, you know, learn this jutsu. He worked his ass off, and he's being rejected by Sasuke. Obviously, he wasn't rejected, but it looked like he was gonna get rejected, so he ran away, right? Like, I'm referring to Boruto's perspective. And Sarada was like, you're too hard on Boruto. He was never like this. And that's the same thing I'm thinking, because we never really saw too much training when it comes to the Boruto series, like of any characters. And that is basically because Boruto is a prodigy. And anyway, Boruto has this, well, he goes to Katasuki, he seeks his help or whatever. Now, if you remember, because this is a crucial detail, and I'm telling you this as a manga reader, in the last episode when Katasuki was shown, he was talking to Naruto. Naruto rejected his offer, you know, to include the technology in the exams, and, you know, he was just sad and he left, because he's a good guy. He's a good guy at the end of the day. He's not a bad guy. It's not like he's not gonna listen to Naruto, right? He's the Hokage. And there was a scene where somebody was behind Katasuki and somebody did something to him. In the movie, we don't see this, and, you know, we all get the impression that he's just an annoying character, a prick, basically. But no, he's a good guy. It's not like he tried to do anything against Naruto as well, but in the last episode, something happened to him. And it's obvious because his behavior was strange in this episode. First of all, he's opposing Naruto's words, and he seemed kind of suspicious. And anyway, he introduces the ninja technology to Boruto. Let me quickly mention Mitsuki. Mitsuki in this episode was seen talking to Orochimaru. And, you know, earlier in the anime, they were also talking, right, through the snake or whatever. I guess they're talking through some vibrations or something like that. That's not my field of expertise. I might be wrong. But it's interesting. It feels as though they're talking over phones, because, you know, they're switching the scenes between Mitsuki and Orochimaru. And I found that, I thought that was hilarious, to be honest. And this is the crucial thing. Orochimaru tells him, don't show them your true power, or otherwise you won't be able to stay here, obviously in the village, because, you know, Mitsuki came from the Sound Village. Does this confirm that he can enter Sage Mode consciously? In the Genin graduation exam, when he was fighting against Shino, he was seen gathering some Senjutsu. I still think he didn't go full Sage Mode because he would have killed Shino. And also, I mean, when he did Sage Mode for the first time, you know, when he was there with Log and Orochimaru, he did it subconsciously, I think. So that's a big mystery for me. Can he enter full Sage Mode at the moment? I don't know. He can definitely gather Senjutsu, but he probably won't show any of these two on the Chunin exams. I mean, he's not gonna do it. He was just, you know, Orochimaru literally just warned him about it. Now, I think this is done really well when it comes to Boruto's character. He uses the ninja tech, and, you know, he, you know, makes a Rasengan in front of Sasuke. Obviously, Sasuke saw it, and he was kind of disappointed about it. He was like, I wanted you to be more like Naruto or something like that. And by the way, I really like the moments where we see Sasuke looking at Boruto and seeing kid Naruto. And that goes back also to the conversation that, you know, Sasuke and Naruto had at the start of the episode, which is a really, really nice and like conversation that was written really well. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. The point I'm trying to make is that, you know, as Boruto makes this Rasengan, he pretty much lies. He makes it look as if he was the one who made that Rasengan. And this is something that I really like about Boruto's character. For some reason, people think that, you know, the character, especially the main character, has to progress all the time. Many episodes ago, in the Himavari Souvenir episode, Boruto learned that, you know, it's always best to say the truth, no matter how harsh it is, right? But here he decides to lie, and it's because of all the problems that he is facing as a fucking 12-year-old, and I talked about this multiple times, but at this moment, technically speaking, his character is going backwards, and obviously, you know, he's going to develop later on throughout this arc, and that's realistic writing, and that's why I'm enjoying Boruto's character so fucking much, and yeah. Anyway, there's one negative about this episode. In this episode, it was stated that the war ended 10 years ago, which is incorrect. At the start of the anime, Boruto is 10 years old. He turned 12 literally a couple of episodes ago. And, you know, when the war finished, Naruto turned 17. It was October. I'm referring to, you know, Naruto's timeline. And he was 17 at the time. Naruto the Last, which is one of the rare, you know, one of the few canon movies, Naruto canon movies. I mean, The Last and Boruto the movie are canon, but Boruto the movie is getting, you know, is getting changed in the anime, so I mean, it's still canon, but let's say that Naruto the Last is the only canon movie. In this movie, Naruto is 19, I believe, or 18. It's been 1 or 2 years after the war, and Boruto still isn't born. I'm not sure exactly when Boruto was born. There's a video, one of my friends, Kryptonian Sand, that's his name, he did a video about this, like the official timeline. But anyway, war was 14, 15, or 16 years ago. And it's just not 10 years ago, because Boruto himself is 12, and Boruto was born at least 2 years after the war. And it just completely makes zero fucking sense. I don't know if the writers were high when writing this, but it's honestly very, very stupid. And that, because of that detail, I have to give this episode 9.5 and not a 10, because that's a huge detail. And, you know, they mentioned some events that happened 10 years ago, a couple of episodes ago. I think it was episode 51. But they didn't specifically say, hey, the war ended 10 years ago. They literally said the war ended 10 years ago. And I'm like, are you fucking high? Like, I'm not joking. These people were high when writing this episode. Anyway, 9.5 from me. Boruto greatness continues. Twitter and Discord links are in the description below. That was your boy Hokage. If you're new to this channel and if you're into Boruto, consider subscribing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.